anything that we would be passing here, anyone who is currently has animals within the city of Oneida would be grandfathered. It does not apply to anyone in the outside district. In addition to that, we did not have in our minds that we were going to develop all kinds of animal police and run around trying to find out who's got what animals and what you're doing with them. Our intent was to apply this ordinance on a complaint basis. So if you've got animals and you're okay with your neighbors and you're not creating a public nuisance and there's no health issues, then we have no issues with you. That's basically the intent of this, was to give us an opportunity, should we have a public health issue or a serious complaint issue, the tools to address that issue. That having been said, I will open up the public hearing. If I can have do I need a motion to that? Okay. We'll now open up the public hearing.
There was no health issue, no one would bother you. But it seems like all this law would do is get someone, we all have these neighbors in our life or heard of them, that are the biggest boil on your buns that you'd ever want. And all this is going to give them is ammunition to overtax the police department by calling and complaining whether you have an animal or not. Or the animals might be your kids, to send them out to bang on your door to say how many animals you have, there's a problem here, and then they leave. 2 weeks later, they get a call again, the police department, they're back and forth. Seems like it'd be overtaxing your police department in one aspect for the people that are going to be coming, knocking on the doors, because you have a neighbor that has nothing better to do but complain, and they're not really mad about an animal, but about something else.
I guess what we have to say is, we're asking you to maybe table your vote tonight in order to have Brian Shapiro from the Humane Society of the United States New York Director come to one of your meetings and help you create a better law. Because while this law helps a hoarding situation, you had 19 Chihuahuas and a German Shepherd come out of Lenox Ave. Lenox Ave is a small street, and I'm familiar with it. I grew up here in this area. But by your rule, 4 of those Chihuahuas who needed medical care, dental care, were not up to date on shots, were not licensed, would have been forced to be left in a home filled with feces and urine. So you didn't, with this law, you're not protecting the animals. You're not protecting the quality of life of someone who's willing to live like that. You're simply saying, well, get rid of 15 of the animals, 4 is okay.
I'm extremely proud of these individuals because you see before you a group of individuals who acknowledge their humanity. At the same time, they acknowledge their responsibility to attempt to legislate on behalf of this community. And trust me, it's not easy. In addition, I want to point out a couple of things along the way. One of the things that I guess I want to point out is that we, while we're not attempting to put neighbor against neighbor, the simple reality in when you come together and live in close proximity and you put in place laws and rules that govern how you decide to relate with each other, if there isn't a bit of compassion and understanding and humanity between you as neighbors, there's always going to be an issue that they can come and bring against you. We certainly don't want to add to that, but trust me, there's a ton of them out there they can use right now if they want. Without going on at great length, I appreciate your participation. Oh, well, I almost slipped my mind. One thing, I was kind of not on my game when I noticed that I am usually very strongly opposed to having a public hearing and voting in the same evening. I think the reasons for that should be obvious. I made it we've had some gentlemen to my left have pointed out, we've had some rather packed houses here. One of the realities of my administration in its infancy, only 2 months, is that we've already tackled a number of very contentious and difficult issues. I'm proud of that too, because we're not going to sit here and rest on our laurels and do nothing. It's very easy to do nothing. It's quite difficult to set a high bar and to try and constantly make changes in your community that serve the common good and the public trust. And that's what this council is attempting to do, and I'm proud of them for doing that. An example of that is the fact that almost every council meeting we have, you look out and there's this many people.